Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I'm driving a 2002 Mini Cooper S. Up front is a 1.6 liter supercharged inline 4 and down below is a 6-speed manual transmission. And if you want to read more of my thoughts, head on over to carmarshal.com/overdrive where I'll be writing a complete article about the Mini Cooper S. And hopefully you guys should be watching this video in 4K. I never really mentioned it, but I do film all my reviews in 4K. But let's get back to that 1.6 liter supercharged inline 4. Well, before I did this review, before Peter showed me his car, I never realized that Mini Coopers were supercharged. I always thought the S's were turbocharged, but this is only the second year of production of this car, they were in fact supercharged, which I think is really cool. It's very odd that you find such a low displacement car that's supercharged rather than turbocharged. Now, looking under the hood, as we look at that 1.6 liter, you'll notice that it's very odd looking under the hood. Everything's just kind of positioned super weird, and that really starts the weirdness of the Mini Cooper. Mini Coopers are strange cars, and we'll get into that more once we talk about the interior. But like I said, that 1.6 liter is paired to a 6-speed manual transmission. Real easy to shift, although the clutch is actually really heavy. It's like Camaro or Corvette heavy when you first get into it. It's so weird, but I guess that's just the way it is. Now, let's talk about the interior. Like I said, this is where things get a little bit strange. Well, in front of me is a tachometer, and that's it. I don't get a full gauge cluster in front of me. It's literally just a tachometer. I really like that, although I guess maybe I'm too tall or something. Maybe I don't have the steering wheel adjusted properly, but it kind of cuts off the top of the RPM gauge with the steering wheel. But that being said, I do get a little bit of information on the tachometer. I have miles till empty, MPG, average speed, temperature outside, and we're back to miles till empty. Then in the center, that's where my other gauges live. So I have a speedometer, which is ginormous. The largest speedometer probably in any car ever. Then, of course, I get the odometer in the middle, coolant temperature on the left, and fuel on the right. Up above that, I do get my warning light and my gauge settings. Something weird also about the instrument cluster is that the ticking noise for the blinker, although the blinker, I see it up here, it's coming from the center. A little bit annoying. Down below the center stack, you get your radio, air conditioning options, and then you get a few different switches, two of which are window switches. Then there's the central locking switch, fog lights, and traction control toggle switch. Then you got two cup holders, your shifter, my buttons for power mirrors and heated seats, handbrake, and that's it. Giant sunroof. It's actually split up into two parts. On the roof of the car, it actually looks like one single piece, but it actually is two sunroofs on the inside, one over the rear passengers and one over me. One weird thing is that the hood latch is on the passenger side. So if you want to get under the hood, you have to pop the hood from the passenger side. I don't know if that's a nod to the fact that this is a British car and they're supposed to be right-hand drive, but the hood latch is over there for some odd reason. Not really sure why. Now, this car is a 4-seater, so it does have rear seats. We'll check that out. All right, so I am in the back of the Mini Cooper S, and not bad. It's actually decently roomy. I wouldn't want to get stuck back here during a road trip, but it's not horrible. Honestly, Mini Coopers have always surprised me in the fact of how much room they have on the inside for being how small that they are. So really no features back here. I have a side pocket on either side, but other than that, it's pretty bare back here. And overall, I said this in my 2018 Mini review, 16 years later, The interior is really large. I don't know if you could tell, I'm really far away from the camera. I can barely touch the camera. I can't touch the windshield. It's a very, very roomy interior for being a Mini. One thing I don't like about the exterior, and I complained about this with the 2013 Countryman S All 4, is the door handles. You don't pull the entire handle out. There's a little, I don't even know what it is. It's like a clamp. There's like a bar on the inside. You have to open up the door like this. And it's just annoying. Like that, I don't know how else to put it. It's just annoying because you have to use unnatural pressure instead of just pulling the door handle out. Now, the 2002 Mini Cooper S is pretty important because it's actually only the second year of the modern day Mini. Modern Mini, as we know it, really started in 2001. BMW stepped in and started making them again. They started the Mini Cooper brand up again. So yes, this technically is a BMW product. But what's so interesting to me is the fact that BMW resurrected Mini and it was actually genuinely successful. I would say that this is a pretty good resurrection of the Mini Cooper. Sure, it's almost twice the weight, it's a lot longer, it's a lot larger, and that's because of pedestrian safety laws. You just can't make old-fashioned Minis anymore because they don't have crumple zones. They're not safe vehicles. So that being said, in terms of making a modern version of what the 60s car was, this is a pretty dang good stab at it. It's fun, it handles like a go-kart, you have real exact steering. It's such a fun little car just to mess around with. Now what's also really cool is that this car was basically the star of the newer adaptation of The Italian Job. Now the original Italian Job featured a chase scene with 3 original Mini Coopers, and then the 2003 film adaptation of The Italian Job had 3 of these Mini Coopers as sort of an homage to the original film, which I think is really cool. These cars are super nimble. They're super, super iconic. Although I do wish this car had the pinstriping from the movie or those iconic pinstripes on the car. You know, speaking of The Italian Job, a lot of people actually think I look like Mark Wahlberg, which I don't disagree. But I get the appeal. And I've done 2 Mini Coopers before, but they're more modern, more watered down. I drove a 2018 Mini Cooper, no badging on the end, just Mini Cooper. And then I drove a 2013 Mini Cooper Countryman All 4S, or S All 4, something like that, super long. And both of those seemed like derivatives of the Pure. This is the Pure. This is the Pure Mini. It has forced induction. It's smaller. It's light. It has some of these weird quirks. Man, is it fun to drive. It handles well. It's nimble. I've never driven an original Mini, but I have to say, if the original Mini is anything like this, they must have been a heck of a ton of fun. Let's see if we can take this turn. See, that wasn't even going that fast. This thing isn't gonna blow the doors off of a Lamborghini, but it's nimble. It's tight. Even 16 years later, the steering rack feels great. 163,000 miles into its life, it feels great. And you know what? It gives me confidence. And I think that's the biggest thing. The coolest thing a car can do is give you confidence. Miatas give you confidence because you can put your foot flat to the floor, bang gears, and you'll maybe get to the speed limit eventually. They give you that confidence of putting your foot in it. And this thing gives you confidence in the corners. I feel real light and nimble. I know how this car is going to react. There's no guessing. I'm not driving this car, doing this review thinking, maybe I shouldn't go this fast or maybe I shouldn't do this. No, I know exactly what the car is going to do. It's very predictable. And the fact that it's a 1.6 supercharged, I'm really not missing more displacement. I'm not thinking, oh man, this thing needs a 6-cylinder. Man, this thing needs a bigger turbo or something like that. No, this power definitely feels adequate. But you know, we're getting towards the end of the review. The one sad thing about this is that I really don't feel like they make cars like this anymore. And I know Mini purists will say that about the original Mini Cooper, and that this was kind of a fatter, older attempt at it. And yeah, I could see that point of view. But to me, a millennial, a kid born in the late 90s, to me, this is what cars used to be. This was when cars were cool. This is when the Mini was fun. And now, I don't get this same feeling from modern Minis. I just don't get this quick, nimble, little burst of joy. You know, this thing almost feels like a toddler. It's so eager to turn. It's so eager to run. This thing is a puppy, I guess would be a better analogy. And that it just wants to go. It just wants to have fun. And no, it's not powerful. It doesn't have a big bite to it, but it doesn't matter. So thank you, Peter, for letting me do this review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys learned something about the 2002 Mini Cooper S. If you want to read more of my thoughts, head on over to carmarshal.com/overdrive. But again, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.
Aside from my soul.